where the West begins in Fort Worth, Texas, to around the globe. You are listening to Talk in the Night. And now, your host, Paranormal Phil. Thank you, and good evening, good morning, wherever you may be around the world, around the globe, or even in your own backyard. I am Paranormal Phil, and later on in the show tonight, we're going to be joined by my guest, Toni Greene, as we talk about hypnosis, psychic killing, and psychic abilities, all that good stuff. But first, up on the Talk in the Night website, under the story of the day, connection between spirituality and hypnosis. Gaining perspective by evoking spirituality can be healing. Using hypnosis to unlock great power of the subconscious mind can lead to enhanced spiritual understanding. Understanding spirituality helps people heal by putting things into perspective. In an example, a person anxious about an event of athletic in nature might be asked in hypnosis if the competition would be important in 5 years. In another case, someone who's dealing with a life-threatening disease, hypnosis can help them cope with their fears of their own mortality. It is believed that in the state of hypnosis, and I spelled that wrong, I'll have to correct that later, can invoke people opening themselves to something beyond themselves. And of course, you can click on the link below the story, and it'll take you to the original story, and that's up on talkingnight.com. So let's talk about my guest real quick, and then we'll get her on the show and get into all the good stuff that we're about to talk about tonight. Toni has been a psychic medium and channel for as long as she can remember. The messages and connections she receives are like normal conversations, just angels and loved ones on the other side. This was so normal and natural to Toni that she never thought of it as a gift or something special. It's just something that has always been there, and she has always helped her family, friends, and strangers alike. Toni loves sharing her messages and can easily do so in private sessions, a group session, with an audience, or on air. Toni has memories of channeling psychic abilities from early childhood, although at the time she had no idea that she was channeling or what channeling was. So please welcome to the show my guest, Toni Greene.
Hey, hi.
Hello, how are you doing tonight?
Good. Thank you so much for having me on. It's such an honor.
Thank you. So tell the listeners a little bit about yourself other than what I read there.
Okay. So where would you like me to start? I've had 3 near-death experiences. I see angels, and I see what people consider ghosts. Not all of them, thank goodness, because they're around us all the time. Mm-hmm. Probably fill our rooms up. It would be overwhelming to see all of them all the time. I have a TV show that airs on WSGS and on Roku and a number of other streaming channels. I also have, it airs on most of the podcasts. It's live on YouTube twice a week, every Monday and Wednesday at noon, where I take callers. They can call in and ask questions or connect with loved ones, and I do healing work. Is that good? Should I keep going?
No, that's fine. I mean, if you want to keep going, that's fine too.
No, I think that's good. You can ask me about any or all of that.
Okay, well, I got plenty of questions to last for a 5-hour show, even though we're only doing 2. So,
perfect.
The reason I do that is that way I can choose where I want to take the conversation, or if the conversation happens to go in that direction, I can be like, okay, there's that question. So, when did you realize that you had psychic abilities?
Actually, it's very bizarre. I've always been very in tune and didn't know it. It was after I became a hypnotist. So although I often channeled things and knew things, I didn't think about it as being psychic because it was just normal. Nobody ever said, "How did you know that?" Or it was more like, "What a lucky guess."
Yeah.
Yeah, right. What a lucky guess. So once I became a hypnotist and people were coming to me for hypnosis sessions, I would give them all of these messages during their sessions, and they would call to make another appointment, and they'd say, "No, I just want to come in and talk to you and ask you questions." And I'm like, okay, about what? And then finally I was watching somebody else, and it hit me. I was watching, I think it's Esther Hicks. I was watching her, and it just hit me. I heard the words, "That's what you do." And I was like, oh, that's what I do. Like, it just was like that moment, and realizing, having all the flashbacks through many points in my life, and having that knowing that that's where it all came from.
Yeah, because I know for me, I've had my abilities, at least I know since like 5 years old.
Okay, nice.
The first encounter that I had was when I was 5 years old. I was going out to the kitchen to grab something to drink, because that's what I did in the early 70s. I was a troublemaker. But I saw this little boy spirit playing with a ball on top of the refrigerator, and I was like, I looked at him weird, and I was like, but I wasn't scared. I know some kids might be scared of that, but my thought was like, come down here, I want to play with that ball too.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because we don't, especially at that young of an age, we don't necessarily think of it as, oh my goodness, that's something scary. That's going to hurt me or anything like that. I have a lot of clients that bring their grandchildren or children or nieces to me that are very, very gifted, but we all come in with it. Mm-hmm. It's when we're told that's not real, that's an imaginary friend, that we start shutting it down.
Yeah, and of course...
Or when it scares us.
Yeah, of course, like me, I want to say it was probably about 10 years or plus ago that I actually came up with a term called the Santa Claus effect. And for those that have kids listening, have them tune away. I don't want to destroy the reality. Always have to make that disclaimer. But the way I describe it is, when we're young, we're told Santa Claus is real. As we grow older, that we find out we're told that he's not real. Same thing with the spirit world. When we're young, our minds are not corrupted by the everyday world, and we're more open to seeing the spirit world and communicating with them. And as we grow older, we're told that it's not real. It's just our imagination, like you said. And that ability gets pushed from our third eye back into the deepest part of our subconscious. It's still there, but a lot of times people lose that ability to unlock that third eye. It's still there. It just people don't, and some people might think, oh, well, I saw this in a dream, or I just thought of this, but it's actually that coming to the forefront a little bit.
And I think I'll go one step further and say, depending on why we shut it down, and some people as children shut it down because they started to see and or feel very scary things. And others, they were told it was their imagination. Depending on why we shut it down and how much we shut it down, and we never completely shut it down, because we always have that intuitive moment, like, turn here, look out, something's coming at you, or turn around quick, like so-and-so, you're thinking of someone and they call. We always have those intuitive moments. We don't think of them as intuition, but it's always open at least a little bit. But if it was shut down because of fear, let's just say you saw something super creepy, or you were told, and this one always, it makes me so irate. Well, how do you know it's not the devil? Well, the devil doesn't spread love. The devil doesn't spread love. And if you're, with angels and loved ones on the other side, they're spreading love. They're helping you on your life path. But if we shut it down for fear, or for fear of it could be the devil, which, by the way, folks, hate to be, the one to burst this bubble. There's no such thing as a real devil. Yeah. Anyway, there are things that are a little darker, but there's not a man with horns running around trying to get you. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm Wiccan, so we don't really believe in like the traditional Christian God or devil or anything like that. We believe there's light entities and dark entities, which can kind of be construed as angels and demons, but it's just a different wording.
Right. Well, yeah, I think that there are the beliefs that there are things that are obviously light, and then obviously there are things that are not so light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've dealt
100%.
I've dealt with the darker stuff. I was a lot of times when I was in the paranormal field. I've been in the field for 30 plus years, and I would get called in ahead of a Catholic priest to get rid of the darker entities. And of course, I would go in with I go into a location with surrounding myself with a white light. I go in with no fear, because if you go in with any type of fear or any type of emotion, they are going to find that weakness and attach and attack and make you physically ill or scratches or whatever. So I go in with no fear, like, you ain't getting to me.
Right.
But yeah, there was a location that I did where I told the team that I was with that called me in, I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to stay out, because it was a home that used a Ouija board. And of course, I tell people the board is not bad itself. It's the intent that you put into it. Otherwise, it's just a board. Even if you put that good intent, if you don't know how to close that door, then you're going to have the possibility of something coming in bad. But anyways, I told them, stay outside the room for your protection, but stay outside for my protection, just in case you have to actually come in and pull me out of that room and the house. But I knew exactly what I was doing, and I did not want them getting hurt, because I know they were not prepared for something like that. I was. And
right.
They stood out there, and I had the door closed. I'm doing my whole ritual, that thing that I do, and they saw this dark gray mist run from room to room as I was chasing it out of the house. It was not getting away. It wanted to get away from me. That's what it did. But they saw this thing running from me. So I guess that's a strong gift that I have, and I've only strengthened it over the years.
That's amazing.
So now I talked about my first experience. What was your first experiences with the paranormal, seeing spirits and everything like that?
Well, one of my younger ones was when I was still living with my parents, and or with my mom, I should say. And it's when we first moved into this house, my mom said we never talked about like psychic abilities, ghosts, yada, yada, so on and so forth. There were never conversations about that. But when we moved into this particular place, my mom said, there are ghosts here, just leave them alone and they'll leave you alone. And I remember not having a full grasp on exactly what that meant. Like just being like, oh, so there are ghosts here, leave them alone. How would I bother them? How would they bother me? Like, how do I, and then there was one closet I would never reach my hand into. Like, I pulled all my clothes, like, to one part. And I didn't know why at the time. I never had the understanding of why I wouldn't even look at that part of the closet. But I pulled all of my little bit of clothes to the front of the closet and never put anything back there. Well, one day my mom was running through the house from my stepfather, and like a drawer flew out and he like ran into the drawer. That would be like the most obvious experience at a younger age. At a much younger age. That was my first, the first one I remember at a younger age. But I did move into a home that had quite a bit of activity in it, and the angels helped me to help all of everything and everyone in this home be taken to heaven, or what I would call heaven, to be taken to the light. Most of that, it was near the lakefront, so the first night they helped me to, I just followed their cues and did a few things, and then I saw all of these Native American spirits leaving the land, not only mine, but my neighbors' homes also, and going up into, what we would consider the stars. And then a few other spirits or activity inside of the home was released from the home with another way of doing it. And then at night, I wear this gold chain, and it used to have a crucifix on it. Mm-hmm. And I love that crucifix. It was gorgeous. But every morning I would wake up, and the gold chain would be on my neck, but the crucifix would be in the middle of my bedroom floor, and something would shake my bed at night. So finally, I said to the angels, I said, I've pretty much had enough. I'm done with this. Let's do this. So I had to go into a very deep meditative state, and I had to work with the angels. And what I ended up seeing was it changed my view of everything on this subject. Because even though everybody else who would come in or I talked to was like, oh, it's an evil spirit, I'm like, no. So what ended up happening is I did see this particular spirit. I could see it. It was a man. There was definitely a man. And I had one so-called shaman literally come to save the day and be the big man, and he ended up running out of my yard, skidding his tires away. I'm like, awesome, leave the 5'4" blonde to handle it as you run away like the big chief you are. Awesome. So then I just finally went in. I said, okay, angels, apparently the big Indian shaman is not going to do this. Let's get it done. And I laid down and I went into a meditative state, and they showed me this man, and the vision I saw was he was in my basement, because the angels had filled my level of the home, and they brought in, now this story is so telling, and it's so important for anybody listening to just dissolve all fear for this sort of thing. They brought in this priest, and on either side of the priest were angels. And I swear to goodness, now a lot of people will not believe this story, but you can feel the truth. And if you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, it's okay. I don't care. I'm not making a dollar a word here, folks. So if
Yeah.
you don't believe the story, it's on you. If you believe it, it's not on you.
Yeah.
And this full-grown man who had been pretty much like torturing me since I moved into this home backed into a corner in the basement and was shaking and fell to the floor and turned into an 8-year-old little boy and was just sobbing.
Wow.
And passed out. And the priest was in handcuffs. These angels that had brought this priest in, who had apparently since passed away, was in some sort of wrist restraints. So I got to see what turned this spirit into what it was. And then a lion came in. Now remember, this man that had regressed to a little boy was now on the floor, passed out, and a lion came in, grabbed this little boy with its mouth, and carried it out through the same spot that all of the other spirits had left my house through, like this portal that went out. And then they took the priest and left with him also. But that specific incident helped me to understand even the darkest of dark was once an innocent little boy or little child that something turned into what it became. And with that compassion and understanding, you can help anything go back to the light from whence it came, from which it came, because we all come from the light and we all return to the light. And we just have to have the angels come in and dissolve the darkness that turned them or made them negative so they can go home again.
Yeah, and of course, like I was mentioning, a lot of the work that I do as far as cleansing the home, these darker entities, I tell people, if you're going to allow this stuff in, I can do all the cleansing I want and chase it out of there, but if you allow it back in, it's coming back in. I can get rid of it if you want to.
Phil, let me ask you this,
Sure.
because a lot of people don't realize this, and this is, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Let me interview you, Phil. Now, you say if you're going to allow it back in, and people would argue with you, and people would say, I would never allow it back in. It's just coming in. I can't stop it. Explain to people how they're allowing it in or how it's getting in. And I don't believe it's only portals that bring it in, because people will say, well, there's a portal that you need to close. I don't think every single home has a portal that's allowing this in. And again, that takes the power away from the people that live in the home if they believe there's a portal there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how do these energies, these unwanted energies, and again, they can be people who just have not gone to heaven yet, that maybe have addictions or whatever, that just need to be like, poof, with a magic wand, you are now flying your booty to heaven. How do they get in?
Well,
What is that?
Well, this one case that I worked on, there was not the one that I was talking about, the Ouija board thing. This was a different case. The team called it the demon behind the garage case. And it was in the city that I grew up in Southern California. And they were messing with the darker stuff of the cult. They had upside down crosses with blood and burlap sacks around them. So they were messing with the darker stuff. And I told, it was the client.
It's always funny until you summons a demon bigger than you.
Yeah. But
I'm sorry.
What happened is the client.
It's all fun and games until the boss shows up.
Yep. But
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, no, I came in because the client had called us, not the homeowner, but it was the sister of the homeowner that called us in because she knew that things were going wrong there, and she wanted to get rid of it. And I was like, okay.
How did that phone call go? Hey, Phil, I need to tell you, we've been playing with demons, and we seem to have caught something bigger than we can handle. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I never got that call. I got the call from the team that called me in. Said, we need your help with something of darker nature. We know you can handle it. So that's all I heard. Because when I go into a location, I don't want to know what's going on. I wait till I get there to use my own abilities to see what's going on. But
right.
But anyways, getting back to this, she had called the team and said whatever she said. I don't know what she exactly said, but she said this darker stuff, I guess, was there causing havoc. So I went in. The homeowner was pleasant with me, like she didn't want us to know. But anyways, I did what I did. Everything was good for a couple weeks. Then the same client called us back and said, no, this time she called me back and said, it's back. And so we went to the location, and it was three of us there, me, the lead investigator of the team, and a psychic they had. And we all showed up to the location, and we're standing out in the middle of the street waiting for the client because the client wasn't there. And the homeowner was on the porch, sweeping out the porch. He had the client's stuff on the porch. He, I guess, was kicking the client out of the house. And
you think?
I was like, yeah, I know why. I was like, I know why.
You think?
But anyways, she was nice and everything like that. She's like, she'll be here in a few moments to pick up her stuff and everything. You can wait here and stuff like that. Well, we're standing out on the curb and everything like that. We're still out in the street, which is public. And this, I noticed out of the, not quite the corner of my eye, but out of the corner of my eye, this dark figure with red glowing eyes on the side of the porch. It saw me. It knew it was what I was there to do. And it went right into her, and her demeanor changed just like that. She's like, you need to get out of here. You're not welcome here. We're out in the street. We're in a public area. You can't, but we didn't argue. We were like, okay, we'll meet the client somewhere else. So we met the client about a 5-minute drive away at a coffee shop and said, okay, this is what's happening. We called the client and said, this is where we're meeting you at, because she does not want us there. And I knew why she didn't want us there, because this thing was there. But it knew that I was not very far away, because and the client showed up, we started talking about it. It tried to make me physically ill, which the best it could do was just a little nauseous. I was like, you're not getting to me. You're not. But we never went back because, like I said, I can do all that I can to get rid of it. But if you're going to allow this thing to stay, like in this case, there ain't nothing I can do.
Right. But in general, okay, so the average person, normal person, not doing occult work, that has some icky energy in its house. Mm-hmm. Like they're not necessarily calling it in. It's just showing up. Because there is icky energy that flies all around. I mean, it's out there.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, well, you're doing this or you're doing that or you're doing something to bring it to you. And here's what I'm going to say. Not necessarily. Mm-hmm. sometimes it might be the case. Sometimes it's like you're driving down the street, you're obeying all the traffic laws, you're doing everything you're supposed to do, and you get sideswiped by somebody else that's not paying attention. Sometimes that's the case with some of this lower icky energy that comes around. I do have clients that do have children that are very gifted, and a lot of different energies show up, and that the children can see the energies and know what's good, bad, or indifferent, and can describe it perfectly. Now, the children and the families are very normal, very nice families. They're not doing anything that's purposefully bringing this in. And then I just will work to clear their home, to clear them, to make sure everything is back to, they're on my weekly clearing, group clearing thing, where every week I clear their home and them. I don't have to go into the home, but I can clear everything out, and help them. From your experience, when somebody's not in the occult, they're not playing with ominous things, what do you feel would bring how can they avoid bringing some of this negative energy in? Let's put it that way.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'll answer that question after the commercial break, because we are at the half of the half. So we'll be right back with my guest, Toni Greene, as we talk about psychic abilities, hypnosis, and psychic healing.
Trying to find the red flags I'm used to. All these green lights, are they coming too soon? Caught between red and the green and you. I'm stuck in the blue. You value how I'm feeling. How do you have so much time? Been searching for a reason for why you'd love a chick design. Aren't you listening to me now? Screamed all my secrets, why don't you leave them?
Do you have a talk radio, Facebook Live, or YouTube show and would like guests for your show but don't know where to go to get them? Well, go to radioguestlist.com and sign up today. They have all different experts in different fields, and you can find the ones that are just right for your show. That's radioguestlist.com. Sign up today. It's free.
To advertise on Talk in the Night, send an email to talkinthe.night@outlook.com. Talk in the Night has plans to fit your budget. Get your product or business heard around the world by the Talk in the Night listening audience. Plans include 30-second spots and banner ads on the show's website and mentioned on the social media sites. So get your product or business heard around the world today. Shop the Talk in the Night merch store today and pick up one of the many products with 9 different designs to choose from. The store has men's and women's apparel, drinkware, houseware, and accessories. Pick up a t-shirt, coffee mug, or anything else on there and support the show today. Go to talkinthe.night.com to find a link to the merch store.
Did my chores and made my bed 'cause I'm supposed to. Cleaned my room, paid my debt 'cause I'm supposed to. I raised my hand and waited my turn 'cause I'm supposed to. Everything they taught I learned 'cause I'm supposed to. I finished school at the age of 18 'cause I'm supposed to. I kept on, got a college degree 'cause I'm supposed to. Got a job working 9 to 5. 'Cause I'm
And
supposed
now,
to.
back to Talk of the Night with your host, Paranormal Phil. Okay, and we are back with my guest, Toni Greene, as we talk about hypnosis, psychic healing, and psychic abilities. Now, before the break, we were talking about getting rid of these darker entities, darker energy, and everything like that. And Toni asked me a great question and everything like that, so I will get to that answer. Now, I do believe that the land, a lot of times people think, well, their house is haunted because something tragic happened. No, not always. It could be the land that something tragic happened in the home. Not always. It's the land that it sits on that could be haunted and have that darker energy attached to it, or a nearby home that it's coming from. So the way I would tell people on how to keep this darker energy out is I'll go off of their faith, whether you believe in Christianity, Wiccanism, Buddhism, whatever the belief system is, because I kind of study a little bit of everything, just so that way I know something about the religion. And I always tell them, regardless of the religion, make the house a happy home, because that lightness, that dark, that light in the home, the good energy in there repels this darker stuff. And if it's still in there, then I can help it move on. I'll give you an example. One home I was doing, the one that I talked about where I chased this darker energy out of the house, we also contacted the grandfather that lived there as well. And at the time, I'll mention this after I mention this part, but after we were the family was in the home, contacting the grandfather that had died there, I opened up the doorway for him to cross over into the light. And of course, this home had no electricity. It was in the middle of summer. It was 105 degrees out at 5 p.m. at night. This is in Southern California in August, so it's going to be hot. So energy locked up in we're about 15, 20 of us in a room with no air. The windows closed, the door closed. And I opened up that doorway, and this cold blast of air came off of me. The temperature dropped at least 30 degrees. It felt like it was 70 degrees in there, while earlier in the day it was feeling like 120, 125, 30, 130 degrees in there. But the temperature dropped. But I also at the same time, and I did mention this to the other people, that I told my guardians, go after that dark entity. Do not let it haunt somebody else.
Right.
And I kind of did that kind of telepathically, so that way I didn't alarm the people, because they were in the process of selling the house. That's why there was no electricity on, but they wanted to clear it out before somebody else had to deal with that.
Plus, if there's something in there, it makes it very difficult to sell the property too.
Mm. Yeah, unless you're like me, where you tried to look for a place that's haunted.
Yeah, no. Most people are not, surprisingly. Surprisingly.
I hope that answered your question that you had for me.
It does. It does. That makes perfect sense. If you have a happy home, everything is going well. I use the frequency or energy. Like energy is attracted to like energy. So if you're a high vibing or a happy person, you're going to have people around you that are happy. If they're not happy, they're not going to want to be in that energy, or they're going to try to pull your energy down. So that makes perfect sense to me. Absolutely.
Yeah, and of course, you mentioned about portals too, and there are not always portals right by homes or inside the home, but there are some locations that do have that high vibrational and electromagnetic field. The Omen House out in Beverly Hills, which I've been to many times, has one of those. And everything like that. So I knew exactly what was there too, because I was driving, or I wasn't driving, my friend was driving, and he wanted to take me to this house that was 150 feet away from where the Manson murders happened. So I was like, okay, don't tell me anything else other than that, because I don't want to know.
Right.
Because if I go in knowing anything, it's going to distort my thought process on what I'm picking up and everything like that. So I was like, I don't want to know. And he's driving along. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. We're on the freeway, so we knew where we were at the time. But until we got to Los Angeles, we needed directions. So I was the navigator. And I said, let me pull. We're about 40 miles away. I said, let me pull up the home on my phone and zoom in on Google Earth and look at the area, because I want to see the area just to see what I could pick up. And I was immediately hit with words and images. There's a portal right there. And I'm trying to show my friend driving, and he's like, tell me and show me when we get there, but not now. He's like, I don't want to crash.
Oh my goodness.
And we get there, and I had told him on the way there, and we talked a little bit before David Ullman showed up outside the house, and he can attest to this day too. I had never met David Ullman, never talked to him, never knew anything other than the murders happened down the drive. That was it. And I told my friend, this is where I'm picking up this portal. And David comes out of his house, and he said, tell David what you just told me. And I told him, this is where I'm picking up this high electromagnetic field, this portal to the spirit world. And he had that shocked look on his face, like, how the hell did he know? Because when his house was being built, a 5-gallon bucket full of water tipped uphill, which is impossible without somebody pushing it or some kind of force pushing it. In the same exact spot that I stood. And there was no way for me to know that. But that's the kind of stuff that I see and how I do things. But let's get back into you, because you're the guest, not me. I think I saw something about what was it? I'm trying to think of where I saw it. Okay, I was going off.
I've completely thrown you off your game by starting the interview process on you.
No, I knew where I was going. I just couldn't remember where I saw this on. When I get questions from your website and everything like that, so I go off of those. But I was like, where did I see that on our website? And now I remember it was on the homepage at the top. It says, and I was going to ask the question, why do you think we need a little guidance to connect with loved ones on the other side?
Okay, so that's a really good question. Life is not easy. It doesn't come with a book. It doesn't come with a manual. And we are, as humans, so afraid to make a mistake. Now, even if you're not afraid to make a mistake, we don't like learning difficult lessons or having to do things over. So let's just say I'm going to use 3 different examples: a job, a relationship, a money or house decision. We have 2 jobs in front of us. We have 2 guys or women we're dating. We have 2 houses we're looking at purchasing. And in our view, both of them, both choices, no matter which of the situations we're in, seem like they could both be prospectively good. We see the good and the bad in each job, each prospective partner. or each home. But we can't see down the road, or there are certain things maybe we're in denial about, we're not feeling it, we're just basing it on what we have already physically experienced. And we want to know which is the best fit for us, because sometimes we can look at, let's just use the partner example and say, well, this partner on paper looks really good, but this partner chemistry-wise looks really good. Which one's going to be the better one long term? And we might not know that. So that's where, when you go in for guidance, you'll get that little bit of help as to, well, if you go with this partner, it has the potential to look like this and have this. Or if you go with this partner, it's going to look like this or this. Or a lot of times when people are thinking about getting a little bit more serious with a partner, they'll ask that question of, I've noticed this little thing about the partner. Is that going to be a problem? Is it going to resolve? Is this person thinking the same way I am? Are they as serious about me as I am about them? Or even the same with a job. If I go with this career choice or this job choice, is it going to be a good choice? Is it going to have that longevity? Am I going to be happy there? Is it going to promote me? Now, on the other end, I do get a lot of clients that actually come in and they're going through either a legal situation, as far as they're going through a divorce, and they want to know, okay, I'm going through this divorce. I don't want to be blindsided by A, B, or C. What should I look for? What steps do I need to take? What's going on? And the angels, not me, your loved ones on the other side will come in and definitely give that guidance of, this is what you need to look for. This is their potential next move. Or if people have been injured in some way and they're looking for that guidance, I can work with their loved ones and their angels or light beings to help them be in that space where they are getting the best answers. Now, the best answer isn't always what you think it is. Okay, so the best answer might not be, this guy makes the most money, so he's the best answer.
Yeah.
This answer might be, you know what, this guy is really good on paper and he does make a great deal of money, but there's going to be a lot more love, and eventually the two of you together will have the financial wherewithal if you work together and you stay in that space. But this guy, if you don't have the passion, don't go that way. So those answers are, sometimes we can't see those things. We're trying to make the most logical answer, or we're worried about not making a mistake. So we kind of get stuck. And where this guidance comes in, it can help you get unstuck or potentially make that good answer. A lot of people want to know, we were in an argument, are they coming back? I don't always give people the answer they want to hear to that one. My answer is, it doesn't matter if they're coming back. What matters is, can you make it better when they come back? What was the problem? Is that going to get better? That's the question. I help guide people to the better questions, as well as to get the best answer also.
Yeah, and of course,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, and of course, I've done readings where I tell the people that you're not always going to get the person that you want coming through. You're not always going to get the answer that you want. That the spirits know what you want to hear, but you might not want to hear that. And it's like, I had to explain that to people. You're not always going to get that person coming through. You're not always going to get the answer that you want. But this is what they're giving me to give to you, and everything like that. So it's, and I tend to use that saying a lot. I don't know why. Somebody brought that up to me and everything like that. But it's just something stuck in my head. But anyways, getting back to the thing.
No, yeah. On a show I think 2 Mondays ago, there was a woman that called in and she was like, is this person coming back? And I was trying to explain to her, But if she, it's not important if she comes back. It's important that the two of you fix this. And this woman just was not taking it. And I actually lost my cool. I very rarely lose my cool, but Spirit came through so strong on her. And when I was done, I was literally a little embarrassed of the way the message came through for this person. I would never, as me, the person, I wouldn't, because the woman is I have on her ring. Well, I was take the ring off. I was oh my God, it was such a strong message. And even I never ever try to deliver a message in such a strong way, because especially with matters of the heart, they're so delicate and difficult in the first place. But I tried to explain after I delivered the message, Spirit is going to come through, angels are going to come through, your loved ones are going to come through the way you need to hear it. Not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear and how you need to hear it to sometimes snap you into the right space. Yeah. You're 100% right.
Yeah, and like me, I tell people sometimes they don't actually give me word messages. They show me images, nope. And it's up to me to interpret what that means. And sometimes it might mean something that sometimes it might mean something that you don't know what the heck. One example, one person was, one spirit was showing me a red cross. I was like, did somebody in your family work in the medical field? Because it's showing me that red cross. I'm trying not to lead them on or anything like that, or as leading questions. But I was like, they're not giving me much more than this red cross. And I'm thinking something, either somebody's got a health problem or they work in the medical field, or it was like that old red cross from a World War II medic symbol. Mm-hmm. And turns out the person had drove an ambulance.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I love when that happens. I love their little symbols. And it's true. When people call me and they're I want to connect with my loved ones, I always try to remember to say, I see some, I hear some, and I sense some. But I'm not going to see all of them. Yeah. I'm not going to hear all of them. They're all not going to talk. And I do tell them, when they say, tell me who's around me, I'm I'm not that person. If that's what you want, don't come to me, because 100 people at any given time are around me, and even people you don't know will start giving you messages.
Yeah.
And I say, tell me who you want to talk to, and let's have a conversation. So I think a lot of people expect it to be like TV. Everybody listening, listen up. That's TV. It's not real. Yeah. I hate to burst that bubble, but let me do it. Yeah. I'm taking the needle and bursting the bubble. Yeah. It's not like The Medium on TV. It's not like The Ghost Whisperer on TV. It's not even like that one East Coast medium on TV. They do thousands of hours of footage to get that one shock and awe moment.
Yeah, and I talk about the same thing with the paranormal TV shows, where you're only seeing an hour of what they're doing. You don't see all the work that goes into it. The
oh my gosh,
interviewing the clients, doing a walkthrough, the hour-long sit-ups.
And where they sit there for hours and hours.
You can sit in a location for
waiting
60,
for something.
60 minutes with nothing happening. It's happened.
Exactly.
But you only see it, the little parts of it. I mean, like the open house that I talked.
I gave somebody a message the other day, Phil. Like, they asked when something was going to happen, and I said, I see that happening in June. They're like, no, I need it sooner. I go, well, I hate to disappoint you, but I'm not in control of when things happen.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you what I need. Like, it's like, I get that you really need that, but guess what? I'm not the boss of that.
Yeah, like the Omen House that I talked about, I have investigated that home over 200 times, helped with ghost tours and everything like that, and we would get there at like 3 in the afternoon, or no, we would leave at 3 in the afternoon to get there at least by 5 because the tour started at 7 or 8, and we had. We had to run wires for the cameras. We had to find out the location where we wanted to place them and everything like that until he got cameras situated in his own home where he didn't need to run cameras. But if we wanted to run cameras, we still had to run at the start of everything. We had to run the wires. We had to run wires down the hill where we actually had to toss lines up into the window from because it was on a hill, so I had to walk down the hill, toss the wire up into the window to where people could run that wire to the camera, and it's a whole long process of just doing that and running that wire back to the main station where we had the monitor for all the cameras. So it takes a couple hours just for that alone. And then the teardown is at least an hour or 2. And then the tours went on from 7, or I think they were 7 till 3 in the morning. So, I mean, you think that whole time that you're there dealing with all that. And that's what people see these shows. I mean, I'm grateful that the shows brought the paranormal out into the open where people understand it, but they're not understanding the full aspects of everything.
Right. I think, there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes that goes on just in that on camera, or what you're editing to go on camera for the show.
Yeah. Now, I do want to get one more question in before we go to the break at the top of the hour. And it's a devil's advocate question because I know said there is no devil, but I still use that word because it gives people a different look at things, because I do love throwing my guests off sometimes. It's just what I do. Because they're not ready for something like this. And that's what makes me unique. But you talked about connected with these angels and everything and loved ones. And I know I hear the same answer just about from everybody that I talk to, but I want to get your take on it. What if that energy... and you mentioned about it's love and light, the darkness can't survive there. But what is the chances that entity that is given that message, or that loved one that's given a message, could be a darker entity, or even a demon, if you will? I don't like to use that word, but I do for people that don't understand.
So, I know exactly what you're saying. You want to know, how do I know it's something of love and light? How do I personally know it's something of love and light? I'm extremely sensitive. My energy is extremely sensitive, and I don't think people know exactly what that means, but I'm going to explain it a little bit here. So first of all, demons don't lead people with answers of love and light. They don't. When I'm with a client and I'm channeling angels, my eyes literally change. They become bluer, or they change to a different shade of blue. And sometimes clients will literally begin to start to have tears come out of their eyes from the feeling in the room. It's such an intense feeling of love in the room. People will walk into my office and they'll say, they'll start to become somewhat, I don't know if emotional is the right word, but the feeling in the office when they show up is love, because those people on the other side that love them and care about them, and the angels come in and are there. I clear myself and my office or my home, depending on where I'm working from. I clear myself and wherever I'm working from before and after, and sometimes even during a session. If something ominous is showing up, I start to hear a clicking in my ear, and I immediately clear it. Also, if something negative is there, if you're sensitive, you'll feel it right away, because if you have a lot of light energy with you, as soon as something that is darker, like a heavier energy or a negative energy shows up and it tries to touch you or talk through you, you will feel a physical pain or tightness in your body immediately. Even if it's just touching your energy, you'll notice your mood starts to shift. You'll notice your energy starts to shift. And if it tries to touch you, I believe 6 feet around us is our physical being, and we can feel it 6 feet away. And I'll literally feel a physical, like, it can feel from anything like a pin poking me, like a needle, a pin needle poking me, to a knife stabbing, to something grabbing the back of my neck, and I instantly start to clear it from me and whomever I'm working with. If I start to feel a little bit confused or I'm not getting Johnny on the spot answers, I start clearing things, because perhaps something came in with the reading. I don't want to say with my client or the person in front of me, but with the reading, something trying to interfere. And I'll start clearing it immediately. And when I do that, the person will say to me, especially if something came in with the reading that was not of love and light, the person will say, I feel lighter. I already feel better. And that's whatever that was going. So I can not only tell by the content of the answers, the feeling of the answers, the directness and the clarity of the answers, but I can physically feel someone, if something is there, I'll physically feel that thing, whatever it is. Now, I'm going to let you take your commercial break, and I'll finish this answer once we get back.
Okay, yeah, because I wanted to, I always ask that real quick before we go to the commercial break. I always ask that question because a lot of people don't know, well, is this person telling me the truth or not? And so that's why I asked it, just so that way people will have a understand, well, if they're not answering the way, like you mentioned, then they can probably tell that that person is not telling the truth. So I'll let you finish after the break. But we'll be right back after the short commercial break with my guest, Toni Greene, as we talk about psychic abilities, hypnosis, and psychic healing, and so much more. We'll be right back after this break. Also, phone calls and chat questions after this as well. We'll be right back.
I don't know what I'm meant to feel anymore. I take it out on my girls and I smash that door. I fucked around with myself and I let you know that if you're up there watching, start the show. Say it's over, my friend. How long until the end? 'Cause I'm past the point where I can admit.
The weather is getting warmer and people are out and about. Well, if you love ghost hunting, now is the time to pick up some new gear. GhostStock.com has a wide variety of equipment to choose from, and one of those items is Blue Buddy. He's back. The talking bear every investigator wants on their team. Click on the Ghost Stop banner ad at the top of the show's website and pick up your Blue Buddy today. Go to spring.com and sign up to create your own design or choose from a design from one of the many creators on there. Spring has ways to integrate your store on social media, custom stores, and they have digital and physical products. While you're there, check out the Talk in the Night merch store. To get started with Spring today, click on the banner ad on the Talk in the Night website. Go to the show's website and click on the links for each of my guests and purchase a book or other product that they may be promoting. Without them, there would be no Talk in the Night. Whether you're interested in the paranormal, conspiracy, technology, health, relationships, or any other topic the show covers, my guests have something for you. Check it out today on talkingthenight.com.
Get a load of this, cause I'm about to quit. Your baggage exceeds my weight requirements, and I can't handle it. Your love is CrossFit. You got me flipping mental tires, jumping rope and shit. Feel like I tried hard, put in some good work, but in the end, the incidents today I diverse. My priorities, no longer your needs, and no more running back to me when you're lonely. So savor these last seconds. This is 1, 2, 3, I'm gone. No more second guessing. This is moving on.
To call into the show, Skype Talk in the Night or by phone at 817-717-1280. Now back to Talk in the Night with your host, Paranormal Phil. Okay, and we are back. Just before we bring back my guest here to finish off her thought before the commercial break, I want to mention if you want to call into the show, ask my guest some questions. The number to call in is using the Skype name Talk in the Night or by phone at 817-717-1280 or go over to Spreaker.com, sign up for a free account. It don't cost a thing. You don't have to record anything. Go to Talk in the Night over on Spreaker.com. Click on that. Click on the live show. Scroll down a little bit. There's a chat bar right there. You can join the discussion. I do interact with all my listeners, and you can ask questions or just pop in and say hi, you're listening, and let me know you're listening because, like I said, I do interact with all my listeners. So let's get back into letting you finish your thought.
Oh, so yeah, I might have forgotten my thought, but that's okay.
It happens.
Sometimes that happens.
Last night I was having quite a few squirrel moments, like squirrel.
Exactly. But during the commercial break, I got up, I went to the bathroom, I filled my water cup. A lot happened. I forgot where we were.
So we were talking about...
I completely forgot where we were and what we were talking about.
Yeah, you were going on the devil's advocate question that I had asked about knowing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think, one of the things that I'll say, too, is... I will say this. I'll say it like this. When you're getting guidance that leads you in the right path, that the highest path, then you know it's from the light, from love, from those who sincerely are caring about you and want the best for you. Now, I've even had, and I'm going to say this, and it's a bit controversial, and I try not to have judgment. There are one or two things that have shocked me in my office, but I still try not to have judgment. I try to have the greatest understanding for everything. But I've even had people come in that have careers that might not be legal. Okay? But even their guides, their angels, their loved ones will tell them, like, instead of saying, yeah, you're getting that money, keep it going, honey, dollar bills, y'all, dollar bills, y'all, keep slanging that thing. Instead, they're saying they're helping them to understand how to get out of that and letting them know, you're going to be busted within the next 6 months. They already have it on paper. They're already listening. You need to stop doing this now. And I'll go so far as to say it doesn't matter if you keep it in the vehicle. The vehicle's in your name. The vehicle's on your property. They know that you need to stop. So even somebody who's doing something that some people might, that is technically illegal and people might consider to be a good, immoral, or, how could, whatever they think about that, have judgment toward that type of way of making money, the angels will still come in and help guide them to this is what's coming, so you need to change your course of action. Now, if it was even people would say, oh, they're drug dealers, or they're prostitutes, or they're strippers. I don't have any judgment for that. So please don't think as I'm saying this, I'm judging it. I'm just saying in general, people might think that. So of course they're carrying the devil with them, and the devil's going to be what comes in to give them advice. No, what comes in, everybody. I don't give a happy hoo-hoo poop-a-doop-boo what you do for a living. Your angels are steady riding your back. No matter how deep you are in, your angels are riding your back like a jockey on a horse, trying to guide you in the right direction. Your angels never, ever, and your loved ones on the other side, your ancestors on the other side, never give up on you, and they're constantly whispering in your ear. And anytime you give a pure channel the opportunity to give you that message, they're going to work through that pure channel over any other noise to get that message to you, to get you back in a place where your life will be easier and you won't end up, just say, in jail or doing whatever, harmed physically from whatever career choices you're making. And that's one of the biggest ways, amongst so many ways. I mean, I have people sit in my office and say, oh my God, I see a big white orb around you. I see a big blue orb around you. I think it was on Monday's show, my viewers and I, when I looked at the camera, we could see this white, like wispy angel, like going across my screen. And, I think it was on Wednesday's show too. So if you go back to my shows from this week, you should be able to see it. One of my people sent me a thing saying at the around the 40-minute mark of, I think it was Wednesday's show, yesterday's show, that maybe it was there, but I'm pretty positive it was for sure on Mondays, either Monday or Wednesday show, whatever, that it was showing up. So, and it showed up several times just to let people know, hey, we're here. Yeah, Monday's show, it showed up several times to let people know, hey, we're here and we're working with you. And I always see orbs. I see the big blue orbs. I see the green orbs. And so I know, but I love when people are sitting in my office and they can say, oh my gosh, there's this big blue orb around you, or this white orb, or I see like an angel standing behind you, or they're on the, like how it showed up on the show on Monday. So you know what, if I could give anybody, just for everybody listening and anybody listening or re-listening, here's 2 things you need to know. your angels never leave you, and they're always with you and working with you. And if you don't believe in the term angels because of your religion, your light beings or your peeps are always there. If there's something, you can ask them to clean out your house of anything lower or negative. You can ask them to give you signs, and they're just waiting to do that. They're waiting to give you the messages. And you might see it on a billboard or a license plate or through a feeling. You might actually start hearing it yourself, which is what they really, truly want. They want to be able to communicate, and you'll know it's them because it's always messages of love that lead you in the right direction, that lead you to a life filled with happiness and joy. And that's what we're supposed to have here. We're supposed to have this very abundant, happy life filled with joy here. Yeah. It's not supposed to be a struggle.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a question here in the chat from Nicole. She asks, can you tell right away if a place is haunted or not?
Hey, Nicole, thanks for the question. You know, for me, I don't go looking for that. And typically before I get someplace, I start clearing it because I don't want to deal with it when I walk in. If it is, I don't do on location clearings like Phil does. So if you want someone to show up at your house to do that, that's Phil. I do it from the comfort of my own little couch. Just saying.
I've done it remotely too as well. I've done cleansings from California all the way out to somebody in New York. Just because I wasn't going to be able to make it out there, but I know how to do that as well.
Yeah. So,
but that's one of my specialties.
Yes, I will. Prior to getting, like if I'm going to somebody's house, especially for the first time, even before I get in my vehicle to get there, I'll start testing or checking, looking in to see if the house is clear. Now, sometimes what I'll see, like one person in particular, I see this huge angel like guarding their home. I mean, this particular person has the most powerful, biggest angel protecting its home. I've never seen such a big angel so clearly in my life, and just standing protecting this particular person's home. So I've always felt very comfortable and safe at that particular home. Now, no matter what goes on in that home, that angel never moves a step. Other places, it's not that the angel isn't there, but other places, yeah, I've cleared a lot of them before I've even shown up. If I've like been invited to dinner or to do a gallery or to do a group thing at somebody's home. Yeah, I've cleared a lot of them, and I've cleared everybody showing up before I get there. But if I do walk in and I see something or feel something, yeah, I just start clearing it right away.
Okay. All right. So,
but I try not to walk into that situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I try not to either, but sometimes it happens.
It's like I send my security team, the angels, ahead of time to do that work for me.
So I want to ask, now, as far as psychic mediums go and stuff like that, there are different attributes that they have, like, to name a few: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentient, empathic, just to name a few. And there's a whole list of different things. But what would you say your strongest ability is?
Oh, gosh, that's such a good question. And I'm going to totally mess up your answer here because I don't have a strongest one. Whatever's needed just comes through when it's needed. Like, I have I don't always know the clairs and the definitions for them, but I hear, I see, I smell, I feel. If somebody's very emotional, even somebody from the other side, like a loved one that's passed on, is crying, I start crying. I don't know which one is the strongest, though. Just whichever one is needed in the moment or whichever way is going to make most sense to the person in front of me, that's what I'm going to get.
Okay, yeah,
I think that's
there's
the way.
different things like remote viewing, and I had a whole list of them. I forgot what they were, but like me, I pick up on, like I mentioned about seeing the portal 40 miles away. Remote viewing I think is probably one of my strong, and seeing things in the future, past, present, everything like that. And I think that is probably one of my strongest suits because, like, I've told people this story many times. And, of course, there was no way for me to prove it until it happened. But when Hurricane Katrina hit, before it even hit the east coast of Florida, I was watching the news on the TV, and they had the path, but it only showed it going out into the Gulf of Mexico. It didn't show it just on the west side of the west coast of Florida. It didn't have it showing where it was going to end up on land or anything like that because it was too far off the coast, east coast of Florida. And I was like, zoom into the Gulf Coast. Because they were showing like different possibility areas, but that was about it. And I pointed to a town on the map, on the TV in Mississippi, and I said, that's exactly where the eye of the storm is going to hit. Sure enough, that's where the eye of the storm hit.
Wow.
And this was, like I said, I saw it just before it even hit the east coast of Florida.
So now... I've done prediction shows where I bring in all these predictions and I just let whatever is going to come out. And some of them happen right away and some of them happen further down the line. And some of them will happen depending on what's going on in our world. So what I've been getting lately, and Phil, I want to ask you, I've been hearing, and it's happening, whether people know this or not, something really big is coming in June. And I've said this for a while, okay? And now there are other things I've said for a while. They haven't happened yet. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to. Yeah. And there are some things I've predicted that I pray to God never happen. Yeah. Now, the thing that's happening in June, I think it's going to affect everyone or a lot of people. And lately, some of my clients that are extremely sensitive have been coming to me and saying, you know what, something's coming in June. So have you been getting that feeling also?
I did, and I cannot remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to tell anybody what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think we're supposed to tell anybody what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think because even though I get a sense of what it is, every time I go to say it, or the sense of what it is, they shut it down. So I don't think it's something that is supposed... Everybody who is psychic, sensitive, they just keep saying, something's coming in June. Something's going to happen in June. And I've been saying that since before the new year. And I would agree. I do believe something is coming. I don't think it's something bad. As a matter of fact, it might even be something good. Gosh, I hope so. Right?
Now, that's what I will mention, that it is not bad. It's good. It's just, it's a shift in energy of some sort. And I'm trying to think of what the message I got. But I do know this much: it is a shift in energy in that sense.
Yeah, I think, and I'm going to be so bold as to say something happens in our physical world that shifts our energy to a happier. I just see celebration. I see a lot of celebration. I do see a lot of celebration with this, whatever it is. But we'll have to wait and see. I always say we have to wait and see how the tide turns to know which direction this is going to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the year, I always do an annual prediction show and everything like that. So I have to kind of go back and look at all my predictions that I made at the end of the last year to see if I made anything about that. I might have, I might not have. I mentioned about a high tornado season for this year, which is already coming true.
Very good. Very nice. Very nice.
But, yeah, no.
Well, not that there's a lot of tornadoes, but like the prediction. Very good prediction.
Yeah. I try not to make the bad predictions, but for some reason, Mother Earth, because I am a Capricorn, so I am an Earth element. And so I pick up on the Earth's energy.
Yeah, so I think sometimes people think of predictions. That's one of the things that people say when they come in for a reading. I'm really nervous. I don't want to hear anything bad. And here's what I say to them. Don't look at it as hearing something bad. Look at it as a warning to something you might be able to prevent, or at least you know it's coming so you can prepare for it.
Yeah.
Because I think that like, even if we know there's a high tornado season coming or tsunamis coming, we can then prepare for that and safeguard the best that we can for it, rather than being kind of, again, blindsided by it. So I always say, whether it's like, if you're asking me about work and I say, you know what, I think it's time for you to look for something else, or there's a better, if you start looking, you're going to find someplace that pays more, then it's your choice to go and you're not out of work and you feel empowered rather than being behind the 8 ball, so to say.
Yeah. Okay, so we do have 3 minutes before, about 2.5 minutes before the commercial break, but quick question. How you are a certified hypnotist, and I was wondering how hypnosis plays a part in doing the work that you do.
Well, I want to make sure I understand the question so I can answer it correctly. So do you mean, how do I use hypnosis, or what do I use hypnosis for?
Kind of that line of direction and everything like that. How do you use hypnosis in your psychic work and doing readings and stuff like that? Okay,
so typically hypnosis is one set of work that I do, and the readings are a different set of work that I do. So with hypnosis, when people come in for hypnosis, typically they're coming in because they want to lose weight or stop smoking. Some are for athletic achievement, to be better in gymnastics or whatever sport a person is in, golf, whatever it is. Some people come in because they want a past life regression, or they'll come in because they want to resolve trauma. They want to resolve PTSD. They want to resolve or heal childhood abuse, whether it was sexual, physical, or emotional. So that's typically how I work with people using hypnosis. Now, also the clearing work that I use to help negative, that the angels use to remove negative stuff from homes, that work can also remove those energies, because we're energetic beings, we're just energetic beings. So everything inside of us is an energy, a program, a belief. So the clearing work I've used very effectively and very often to help people remove abuse. The same things that I use hypnosis for, the energy, the clearing work can be used for. And so both of those healing works are used that way. Now, hypnosis can be used, and the clearing work can be used to help people reestablish, open, and strengthen their psychic and intuitive abilities. So that is how it would be used for those things.
Okay, well, we'll get more into that and psychic healing and stuff like that after the commercial break. Also, phone calls, if you want to call in, ask my guest a question, or pop in the chat and ask my guest a question, you can do that. But we'll be right back after the last short commercial break. We'll be right back.
I must have prayed 1,000 times for my fears to be relieved. I laid awake 1,000 nights, wrestling with my unbelief. I can stand. Without you, I confess, Lord.
Do you need music for your radio show, podcast, or YouTube channel, but need a music license to play it on your show? Well, go to artlist.io and check out the plans they have. They have 3 plans to choose from: personal, unlimited, and enterprise. All the music that you hear on the show is from Artlist, and there is a banner ad on the show's website. Check it out today. Do you love the strange, unusual, and weird unexplained mysteries? Do you like reading about the paranormal and other happenings? Well, I have the website for you, unexplainedmysteries.com. On there you will find so much, such as the latest news and articles, forums, news with video, and so much more. That's unexplained-mysteries.com, or you can click on the banner ad on the show's website to take you right there. Do you love history? Do you wonder what happened on this day in history? Well, check out history.com/this day in history and find out what happened on this day in recorded history. You can also click on the image on the Talk of the Night website under This Day in History and check out one of the many things that happened. The show's website lists a different event in history every day, so check it out today.
Make me work, make me sweat inside, make me feel like I'm alive. Take this hurt, lady, throw it in my face. Don't let these bones slow you down. 'Cause I'm coming on strong. The grass should have looked greener. I need a true believer in disguise. If I'm loving you wrong, short-changing and receiving, girl, you best believe me behind. 'Cause I'm over easy tonight.
To call into the show, Skype Talk in the Night, or by phone at 817-717-1280. Now back to Talk in the Night with your host, Paranormal Phil. Okay, and we are back with my guest, Toni Greene. Now, before we get back with her, because we only got about 20 minutes left, less than 20 minutes left to talk with her before we start wrapping up things. And you got a lot of stuff to do, but I do want to mention the phone lines are open, the chat is open, so if you want to call into the show, use the Skype name Talk in the Night, or by phone at 817-717-1280, or go over to Spreaker.com, sign up for a free account, don't cost anything, you don't have to record anything, pop into the chat, say hi, Let me know that you're listening. Interact with the show, join the discussion, and ask questions there as well. And I also want to welcome Nicole and Carrie to the chat and everything like that. So if you guys got questions, feel free to pass them along. I will try to get them in this last segment of the show. Now, I want to ask, because like I said, I got too many questions that I could ask, and I for some reason, I don't know why I do 5 hours worth of questions, but I do.
No, it's awesome. I love it.
But anyways, get into psychic healing and everything like that. And I see that you help people with fear, trauma, and anxiety problems, such as PTSD. What are some of the other things that you've helped people heal from?
So everything from, depending on your belief system, we can, if you believe in reincarnation, we can bring in trauma from past lives. We can bring in trauma from this life. So healing trauma is really important. But beyond that, helping people heal their future is just as important as helping people heal their past. Sometimes people don't realize it's themselves, the energy that they're carrying or the frequency that they're on that's stopping them, or their belief systems about what they deserve. So, you know, the law of attraction, it's a really amazing introduction to how we can work with the world. But the one thing that the law of attraction misses is we can never achieve something we don't believe. So if we, you know, we want, I'm going to use this because it's a really easy one for me to use. I'm going to give two different examples here. If we want to win the lottery and we know somebody wins the lottery and we're buying lottery tickets, and I'll ask the person, they'll say, help me win the lottery. Help me, like, clear me so I can win the lottery, or do what you need to do so I can win the lottery. And I'll say to them, do you believe you can win the lottery? And they'll go, no. I'm like, okay, well, right there, that's your first answer. And then I'll say to them, how much would you like to win in the lottery? And they'll say, well, like the jackpot, like $100 million, whatever the jackpot is. I'll say, are you comfortable? There's $100 million in your bank right now. Are you comfortable with that? And they instantly get this anxiety. So then I go, let's back up. Are you comfortable having $50,000 in the bank, $100? And we establish what their comfort zone for money is right then and there, what their comfort zone for their work is, what their comfort zone for their title is, what their comfort zone even in love and a partner is. I can't tell you the number of people where somebody comes in with full-on love and they're a person who can truly love, and the other person thinks they're a weirdo or a stalker, and it literally makes them uncomfortable because this person that came into their life can exhibit and give them more love than they're used to. So what we start doing is, as we pull out, you know, if I say, oh, you're comfortable with love, I get a no. Let's start clearing that. By the way, for anybody listening, we're clearing that. You're comfortable being a millionaire, I get a no. For anybody listening, we're clearing this right now. So you might feel, oh, I feel it. You're comfortable having millions of dollars, I get a no. We start clearing that. Yeah. Now, as we clear that, we're literally healing your future and putting you on the path you're supposed to be on. But we're pulling this from past lives or past experiences, things that you've heard, programs and beliefs that you have learned during this life. Yeah. And doing almost the reset to infancy, because when we come in as an infant, we're very selfish. And I don't like the word selfish, because as an infant, we are as we are supposed to be through our whole life. If every person takes care of themselves completely, we would be so healthy. And people will argue with me left and right, and I'll go, and then I'll ask them a couple of questions. But you would never tell an infant, don't take too much food, don't eat too much, don't cry too much, don't need too much attention, don't be so needy, don't be so sensitive. You would never say that to an infant. As a matter of fact, you expect it from an infant.
Yeah.
As adults, that expectation should still be there for ourselves, that if we need love, we should be able to have that love. Yeah. If we need food, but we're taught as we get older, don't be greedy, don't be selfish, don't be egoic. Yeah. But if we take care of ourselves and we do this for ourselves, it's not being any of those things. It's being self-sufficient. But the titles that people have put on it have really effed us up.
Yeah. And,
like if you're with a partner that can't give, and that partner in turn looks at you and says, you expect too much from people, you're too selfish, you're too whatever, then all of a sudden we carry that. When the truth is, no, we're just not a good match. Yeah. We're not a good match. So, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Phil.
I was going to say, it goes back to the intent that I was talking about when I was talking about Ouija boards. If you put that good intent into it, like you were talking about, the putting the energy, kind of energy you're putting out when you're saying, I want to win the lotto, but I'm not comfortable with this much money. It's that intent, that energy that you put forth. And if you put in that good energy, that's what I feel that you're going to get back. If you put that darker, negative energy into it, that's exactly what you're going to get back. So it's a matter of the energy that you put into it.
Exactly. And I'll go one step forward. People don't even realize what their comfort levels are. So if you ask somebody who's, consistently 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week buying lotto tickets, they're buying them because they want to win. But if you ask them, like, are you comfortable with this amount of money? And they'll tell you at what point you can physically see their body change when you get to a certain number. And then any number beyond that is just ridiculous. And they didn't even realize that before. And I'll say, what makes you uncomfortable about that? And they'll say, well, that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And they don't even realize that. Now, here's the bigger thing. When I ask people, if you won $250,000, if you won the lottery, what would you do? If you won like $250,000, they name off 10 things. I'm like, you're in debt. You're in debt like $1 million right now. They don't even get the concept, like, I'm going to buy my mom's a home, I'm going to buy my brother a car, I'm going to buy my other brother a car, I'm going to buy my sister a home, I'm going to buy a home, I'm going to get it, and I'm like, okay, you've already spent. But once we get to that number past what they can spend on homes and cars and, go whatever it is, once we get past that number, they start to freak out a little bit.
Yeah, and see,
they start to freak out.
See, like me, I like to live frugal, even if I have quite a bit of money, because, that's how I'm seeing it, where that's how the rich stay rich, is they tend to stay frugal about what they're spending. And a lot of people don't know that.
Phil, I love that statement, and I just made it to somebody the other day. The truly wealthy people, like when you look at Elon Musk, he lives in a very small house, he wears T-shirts and jeans, but even other really wealthy people, like true people who truly have money, no matter what amount it is, they're not the ones flossing Louis Vuitton. They're not the ones walking around with all these things. Those are, yes, certain famous people will do that, but what people don't realize, all those things were given to those famous people, so they'll wear it. So everybody else wants to go out and buy it and look wealthy. Wealthy people don't buy their own stuff unless it's like an engagement ring. They don't go out and buy all those watches and those things. Those are being gifted. And if you think I'm wrong, let me tell you something. I have a client that gift bags celebrities. And they have to work to get those gift bags to those celebrities, to get that product in those celebrities' hands, so everybody else will go out and buy it so they can look wealthy. If you truly want to be wealthy, invest in, like, not Bitcoin. I'm going to tell you that now. If you knew who owned Bitcoin, you would never touch it. Sorry, Bitcoin. And the government's about to take that over. Just saying. Because guess who owns it? Guess who owns it, folks? The people about to take it over. Hello, I've been saying this for years. Buy gold. Go to pawn shops and buy gold on clearance if you want something to invest in. But otherwise, land. Buy small parcels of land. If you don't have a lot of money, buy undeveloped land. If you have a little bit of money, invest in land, or just do what you need to do to keep it close to you right now. Right now, just keep it close to you.
See, like me, if I ever won the lotto, is I would buy me a house on some land, buy me a car to get around, and still shop at like Goodwill and go to a smaller grocery store or even a big box store where I can buy in bulk and stuff. But I'm not going to spend a whole lot. I would invest in like gold and silver because it's more tangible. Whereas I see cryptocurrency as a digital cash, and they want to take this to a digital cash system, and I see that as the downfall of everybody. But that's just my opinion. But
if that is so true. People have been coming in and saying to me, like, should I invest in this? I'm like, absolutely not. And here's the reason why. They're trying to get us comfortable with it, used to it, thinking it's a great thing, so they can switch it over to that. So the digital currency, like they're doing in other countries where they have complete and total control of every interaction that we do, and they take, I think those who know what I'm about to say. And I say, if you, again, I'm going to say this again, and I said it from the beginning. Let me say it in a different way, folks. In our country, they know if you have a freaking fishing license. How do they claim not to know who the owner or the founder of Bitcoin is? They know, they just can't disclose it, because if you knew, you would run so far from it. There is no way our government doesn't know who's behind that. What they do know is that they are about to expose themselves as the people behind it. They're going to completely devalue Bitcoin or all cryptocurrency, and then they're going to open their own. So everybody, or they're just going to take it over. And when I say take it over, just expose that it's theirs in the first place.
Yeah, well, that's another topic for another show, another day, and everything like that. But I totally agree, and trust me, I've been trying to wake people up to this. I mean, they're not hiding this stuff anymore. It's out in the open.
Oh, no.
Like Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum.
Carl Schwab and his book, C19, The Great Reset.
Yeah,
come on, they're putting it all in our face and laughing at us while they do it.
Yeah, I mean, they even got an ad on their own YouTube channel that basically says you'll own nothing and be happy about it. But again, like I said, that's another.
Yes.
I talked about that last night. Trust me.
and like everyone in my family thinks I'm a conspiracy theorist, even though everything I say, there's the truth of it. There's the evidence.
Yeah.
There's the proof. There's the evidence.
Yeah.
It's still, whenever I say anything, it's like, oh, sure. They roll their eyes. I'm like, okay, I don't give up, but I'm like, okay, I accept that we have different belief systems, and that sometimes that's just all you can do is accept it. Those who are awake are awake. Those who are not, hopefully something woke each and every one of us up. So eventually something will wake the rest of them up.
Yeah. Okay. So we're almost out of time here. So let's start wrapping up things. Would you tell the listeners a little bit about, excuse me, I got the hiccups now. Tell the listeners a little bit about the TV shows that you host and the radio show.
Okay. Thank you. So, my the TV show airs on WSCS, Roku, and many other streaming channels through Rude Rangers TV and WSCS. I record it. I do it live, record it live, do it live on Monday and Wednesday at noon Central via YouTube. So if you go over to YouTube and you subscribe, you can join in live and ask questions about life, love, career, finances, connect to loved ones on the other side. I go for 30 or 60 minutes every Monday and Wednesday. And then that show also gets put out to all the podcasts, like iHeart, Blog Talk, so on and so forth.
Okay. And that's also the radio show that you host as well. It just kind of
correct
video and audio. Okay, I didn't know because like me, I do the radio show here, but every once in a while I will post videos on my YouTube channel. Like last time I was out doing something, I did the ghost tours here in Fort Worth, Texas, at the Stockyards. And I followed around I bought the ticket this time. I've done it in the past where I've asked the person that, can I tag along and film it? But this time I bought the ticket. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it because it's somebody new. And I didn't really know him that well. I was like, let me buy the ticket, but I'm going to still film. And I had I went the whole way, live streamed it. I also filmed it to where that way I could show, because I did have problems during the live stream where it cut out a couple of times. Luckily, the camera was still rolling to record it. But I'll do stuff like that to kind of give people an inside look at some of the stuff that I deal with in the paranormal and everything like that. So tell the people where people can find out more about you and all the TV shows, the programs, and the events that you take place and everything like that.
So if you'd like to visit my website, it's tonig.info, tonig.info. And on there you can look at my sessions, my session prices, everything I have to offer. I have some of my TV shows on there. Otherwise, you can go to YouTube and watch the TV shows or wait for them to stream or air on TV. You can contact me once you go to the website. My business number is on there, so you can contact me to schedule if you want to schedule an appointment. There was something else, and I am available for events as to show up for corporate events, private events as I can't think of the word, but a keynote speaker for events. And if you, I've been having people contact me and ask me if they fly me out someplace for readings for them or their family, will I allow that? Yeah, you can fly me any place. I'm not afraid to fly. If I need to be vaccinated to be in your country, that's a hard no. Because I'm allergic to many vaccines, but whatever.
Yeah, that's again another story for another day.
That's another show. That's yet another show. But yeah, if I have to be vaccinated to show up, I cannot otherwise I will not live through a vaccine. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if you do want to fly me out, no, I will not stay in your home with you. Thank you for the kind offer. You must put me up in a hotel, and no, you cannot stay in the hotel with me either.
Yeah.
Thank you for the kind offer, but that's another hard no. That's a hard pass on that one, too. So, yes, I do travel for bookings for galleries and group events and bigger group events, and also to show up and do readings or things for you and your family. If you want to fly in and with you and your family, absolutely love that. I will accommodate you and your family. No, again, not in my home.
Yeah.
You cannot come here and stay with me either.
All right. Well, we are almost out of time. So I want to thank you again for coming on the show and talking about it. I wish we had more time to get to more things, but unfortunately, my butt hurts after 2 hours sitting in the chair. Actually, 3 hours because I started an hour early doing the sound checks. So
nice. Nice.
I want to mention what we got coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow night is Friday the 13th. That means it's Friday night open lines, and we're having a special Friday night open lines where I want to hear your calls about superstitions. I want to hear your stories, questions, everything about your fears, your whatever of Friday the 13th. I want to hear all that tomorrow. So if you got stories, experiences, questions about anything that the show covers, whether it be the paranormal, technology and science, health and wellness, dating and relationships, politics and conspiracies, or veterans issues, feel free to call in tomorrow. Share all those stories, experiences, or ask me a question. Like I said, I'm a jack of all trades, if you will. So I know a little bit of everything. I've said it last night and other times before. I swear, as much knowledge is in my head, I should look like Megamind. But we got that coming up tomorrow. Also, up on the Talk of the Night website, there is next week's guest up there. Monday night, we're going to talk about Eden to Armageddon. Tuesday, we're going to talk emotional releases and energy balancing. Wednesday is author of the book The Ghost Marriage. We're going to talk about that. Thursday, we got God Came to My Garage Sale. And then Friday, we're doing a Friday night open lines where I'm going to be giving away one of my t-shirts to one of the lucky listeners, and one lucky listener. And of course, you can go to the website, talkingthenight.com, find out all the information about next week's guest and also the giveaway show next week. Also, be sure to follow the show on all the show's social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Of course, LinkedIn, there isn't a little icon there. It is up at the top, but you can follow me there. It's more of a networking thing. So mainly Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and YouTube. And of course, if you want to pick up Tony's book, at the top of the Talk of the Night website, there is a banner ad that says click here to check out Tony's podcast, TV show, and psychic work. Click on that. It will take you right to her website. So until tomorrow night, when I have Friday night open lines, Superstition Friday the 13th open lines, I shall see you on the dark side. Good night from Talking the Night. late at night. Darkness has fallen. Turn on the radio, and you hear him talking. Listening to what he has to say, all about paranormal and all of the things. When he sounds off, you can hear him say,